Have you ever noticed that mornings don't feel quite the same as they used to? Maybe you wake up and your body feels a little stiff, your mind a little foggy, and the day just seems harder to get started. You might even tell yourself, well, that's just part of getting older. But here's the truth, while age does bring changes, the way we spend our mornings can make those changes better or worse. In fact, there are a few common morning habits that many people over 70 fall into without even realizing it, and these habits can quietly chip away at your health, your mood, and your independence. The good news is that every single one of these mistakes can be avoided, and when you replace them with healthier choices, your mornings, and the rest of your day, can feel lighter, brighter, and more energized. Today, we're going to talk about 4 of the most dangerous morning mistakes older adults make, and most importantly, how you can sidestep them so you feel strong and confident no matter your age. Let's start with the first mistake, jumping out of bed too quickly. You know the feeling. You wake up, you hear the phone ring or remember something you need to do, and suddenly you swing your legs over the side and push yourself up. For someone in their 30s or 40s, that might not be a big deal. But once you're over 70, your body doesn't respond quite as fast, and your blood pressure can drop suddenly when you move too quickly. That's why so many older adults feel dizzy, lose balance, or in the worst cases, even fall first thing in the morning. Doctors call it orthostatic hypotension, but in plain terms, it just means your body needs a little time to adjust from lying down to standing up. The solution is simple but powerful. Give yourself a moment before getting out of bed. Instead of rushing, take a couple of minutes to sit up slowly. Stretch your arms, move your ankles in circles, and let your body wake up gently. Then place your feet on the floor and sit for another moment before standing. It may sound small, but this little pause can protect you from dizziness and dangerous falls that can change your life in an instant. I once spoke to a gentleman who told me he had broken his hip not because he tripped on something, but because he shot out of bed too fast one morning, lost his balance, and went down hard. After that, he changed his routine. Now, he spends about 3 minutes each morning doing gentle stretches in bed before standing, and he says he hasn't felt dizzy once since. Sometimes it's these small, mindful changes that make the biggest difference. Now let's talk about the second mistake, one that almost everyone is guilty of, skipping water and going straight for coffee. I know, coffee feels like the magic switch that wakes us up and gets us moving. But here's what happens overnight. While you're sleeping, your body slowly loses water through breathing and sweating. By the time you wake up, you're already mildly dehydrated. And dehydration in older adults is more serious than you might think. It can lead to headaches, confusion, constipation, and even an increased risk of falls because it affects your balance and blood pressure. When the first thing you put in your body is coffee, which is a mild diuretic, you're actually making that dehydration worse. That's why some mornings you might feel extra sluggish or even a little lightheaded, even after your coffee. The fix is simple. Start your morning with a glass of water before anything else. Think of it as giving your body a gentle wake-up call. Once you've had water, you can enjoy your coffee without worry, and you'll notice that your energy feels more steady, your digestion improves, and your mind is clearer. One woman I know made this one small change. She began keeping a glass of water on her nightstand so she could drink it as soon as she woke up. Within a week, she told me she felt less constipated, her skin looked better, and she had fewer headaches. It's incredible how something as basic as water can improve so much when we make it a priority. Another mistake that creeps up quietly is skipping breakfast altogether. Now, I know breakfast can be a touchy subject. Some people say, "I've never been a breakfast person," while others might just grab a slice of toast or skip it because they don't feel hungry. But here's the challenge. As we get older, our metabolism slows down, our muscles need more protein to stay strong, and our blood sugar can swing more dramatically. Going without food in the morning can leave you feeling weak, shaky, or irritable, and over time, it can actually increase your risk of losing muscle mass, which is one of the biggest factors in losing independence as we age. Breakfast doesn't have to be heavy or complicated. The key is to include some protein and fiber. That could be something as simple as scrambled eggs with a piece of whole grain toast, a bowl of oatmeal topped with nuts, or even a smoothie made with yogurt and fruit. These foods help stabilize your blood sugar, give your muscles what they need, and provide steady energy to carry you through the day. I remember a friend who always skipped breakfast because she thought it would help her lose weight. But what actually happened was that she would get so hungry by mid-morning that she'd snack on cookies or chips. When she finally started having a small, balanced breakfast, she found she wasn't as hungry later and her energy stayed more even. Sometimes, eating right in the morning sets you up to make better choices the rest of the day. So, think about this. The way you treat your body in the first hour of the day sets the tone for everything that follows. Moving too quickly out of bed, skipping water, or ignoring breakfast may not seem like big deals, but over time they add up, chipping away at your strength, your clarity, and your independence. On the other hand, giving yourself time to rise slowly, drinking water before coffee, and fueling your body with a proper breakfast are small habits that build a strong foundation for the rest of your day. Watching and feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. When we think about how our mornings set the tone for the rest of the day, there's one more mistake that often slips under the radar, but it can be one of the most damaging over time. It's the habit of sitting for long stretches right after waking up. Many people get up, make a cup of coffee or tea, sit down with the newspaper or turn on the television, and before they realize it, an hour or more has passed with little movement. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound too bad. After all, sitting quietly with a paper can feel like a comforting morning ritual. But for people over 70, this practice comes with some real risks. After a full night of sleep, your muscles and joints are already stiff from not moving. If you go straight from lying in bed to sitting in a chair for another long stretch, that stiffness deepens. Your circulation slows down even more, your muscles don't get the wake-up signals they need, and you're starting the day in a state that makes it harder to move with energy and balance. Doctors often emphasize the importance of morning mobility for seniors. What this means is that your body needs movement, gentle, not intense, to warm up your muscles, get blood flowing, and activate your balance system. Without it, you're more likely to experience aches, slower reaction times, and even increase your risk of falls later in the day. I once spoke with a retired teacher who told me she used to wake up, pour a cup of tea, and sit for an hour watching the morning news. She said she often felt like her knees were locked and her back was stiff when she finally tried to get up and move around. At first, she thought it was just old age. But when her doctor suggested a change, adding just 10 minutes of light activity in the morning, everything shifted. She started doing gentle stretches in her living room, walking slowly around her garden, or even tidying up the kitchen while her tea brewed. Within a few weeks, she noticed that she felt less stiff, had fewer aches, and even slept better at night. That's the power of replacing a sitting habit with movement. Now, this doesn't mean you have to do a full workout first thing in the morning. In fact, at 70 and beyond, the goal is not to push your body hard but to wake it up gently. A short routine of shoulder rolls, ankle circles, or even marching in place for a couple of minutes is enough to get your blood flowing. If you enjoy walking, stepping outside for a few minutes of fresh air in the morning can be incredibly energizing. It doesn't just wake up your muscles, it wakes up your mind, too. And speaking of fresh air, let's not forget the role of sunlight. Another mistake many older adults make is spending their mornings in dimly lit rooms without stepping outside or opening the curtains. Your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm, relies heavily on natural light to regulate itself. Without sunlight in the morning, your brain can stay in sleep mode longer than it should, leaving you groggy, sluggish, and even more likely to have trouble falling asleep at night. This is something I've seen time and again. A gentleman I knew in his early 80s told me he was struggling with poor sleep. He'd stay up late, toss and turn, and then wake up still feeling tired. One small change made a huge difference. He started spending just 15 minutes outside each morning with his coffee, sitting on his porch and soaking up the daylight. Within 2 weeks, he said he was falling asleep faster at night and waking up with more energy. The morning sunlight helped reset his internal clock, something no pill had managed to do for him. So, when you think about how to avoid this mistake, it comes down to movement and light. Instead of sinking into a chair for an hour or more, stand up, stretch, walk around, and let natural light fill your space. Open the curtains wide, step outside if you can, and let your body know the day has begun. Now, I know some people might say, but I love my morning newspaper and coffee. It's my peaceful time. And you absolutely don't need to give that up. The key is simply not to make sitting the very first thing you do for a long stretch. Move first, then enjoy your chair time. Think of it like this: you're earning your comfort. By giving your body 10 or 15 minutes of gentle activity and light exposure, you're setting yourself up to actually enjoy that cup of coffee more because you'll feel awake, refreshed, and ready for the day. Another angle to this mistake is posture. When you sit slouched in a chair first thing in the morning, your body naturally sets into that position, and it can affect you for hours. On the other hand, starting your morning with movement and standing upright trains your body to carry itself with more balance and strength. Over time, this makes a real difference in how steady and capable you feel. It's worth remembering that one of the biggest fears people have as they age is losing their independence. And one of the leading causes of losing independence is falls. Most falls happen because of poor balance, weak muscles, or sudden dizziness. By making your mornings more active and less sedentary, you're strengthening those systems every single day, reducing your risk of falls, and protecting your ability to live on your own terms. So, ask yourself this: what do your mornings look like right now? Do you leap from bed to the chair and stay there, or do you give your body a chance to move, stretch, and greet the day with energy? The choices you make in those first moments truly ripple through the rest of your day. We've already talked about how skipping water, rushing out of bed too quickly, or sitting for too long in the morning can set the stage for stiffness, fatigue, and even accidents. But there's one more mistake that people over 70 often make, and it's one of the most overlooked. It's starting the day with the wrong kind of fuel, or sometimes no fuel at all. Think about it. Your body has just gone through 7 or 8 hours, maybe more, without food or water. That's a long stretch. Your muscles, brain, and organs wake up ready for energy. But what do many of us reach for? A big mug of coffee and maybe a piece of white toast or a pastry. Or sometimes nothing at all until late morning. It feels easy, familiar, even comforting. But here's the truth: caffeine on an empty stomach, or sugar-heavy foods, can send your blood sugar and blood pressure on a roller coaster ride. At 70 and beyond, those ups and downs can leave you feeling shaky, weak, or even dizzy. I once met a man in his late 70s who said he skipped breakfast every day because he just wasn't hungry. He told me he relied on coffee to keep him going until lunch. But he also complained that by mid-morning, he felt lightheaded, sometimes even needing to sit down because he was afraid he might faint. His doctor explained that skipping breakfast was making his blood sugar drop too low, and the caffeine was only masking the fatigue while dehydrating him further. When he started eating a small, balanced breakfast, something as simple as oatmeal with fruit, or scrambled eggs with vegetables, his energy steadied out, and those dizzy spells disappeared. Now, I'm not saying you need a huge breakfast. In fact, overeating in the morning can make you feel sluggish. What your body really needs is balance: a little protein to feed your muscles, some fiber to keep your digestion moving, and a bit of healthy fat to sustain your energy. Even a small bowl of Greek yogurt with berries, or half an avocado on whole grain toast, can do wonders compared to skipping food altogether. And let's talk about the coffee. I know for many, that first sip of coffee in the morning is sacred. You don't have to give it up. But pairing it with water and food makes a huge difference. Drinking a glass of water before your coffee helps your body rehydrate, and eating something light ensures the caffeine doesn't hit an empty stomach like a hammer. That way, you get the enjoyment and alertness from your coffee without the jitters, headaches, or energy crashes later on. Another common mistake is relying on sugary cereals, pastries, or even processed breakfast bars. They give you a quick burst of energy but then leave you dragging an hour later. And for older adults, those spikes and crashes can also affect your mood, making you feel more irritable or anxious. Replacing those with steady, nourishing options sets you up for calmer energy that lasts all morning. Here's something important to keep in mind. Your mornings are like the foundation of your day. If you build that foundation on quick fixes, too much sitting, no water, caffeine without food, or sugary snacks, you're building on shaky ground. But when you give your body movement, hydration, light, and balanced fuel, you are creating stability, energy, and clarity that carry you through the day. I remember a woman who said she never believed small changes could matter much at her age. But she decided to try just one adjustment, drinking water before her coffee and eating a small, protein-rich breakfast. Within a month, she told me she felt more alert in the mornings, her digestion improved, and she even noticed she had more stamina for her afternoon walks. What seemed like a tiny change made a huge impact. And that's the message I want to leave you with today. These 4 mistakes, jumping up too quickly, sitting too long, skipping water, and starting with the wrong fuel, might seem small. But over time, they add up. The good news is, so do the positive choices. When you start your day with care, you're telling your body and mind, I'm ready to live fully today. And your body responds. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these morning habits do you recognize in yourself? Do you rush to the coffee pot? Do you sit too long? Or have you already found a routine that makes you feel energized and balanced? Share your experiences in the comments below. I know many people will benefit from hearing your story. And if this video gave you something to think about, don't forget to give it a like. It helps others find the content and reminds me to keep creating helpful tips just for you. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. We've got plenty more practical, uplifting advice for staying healthy, strong, and independent at any age. So here's to mornings that set you up for success, to bodies that feel steady and strong, and to living your best life every single day. No matter your age, you can always choose to begin the day in a way that honors your health and your happiness. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from this video and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your insights mean a lot to us and give us the motivation to keep spreading positivity and practical advice. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support truly helps us continue creating meaningful content that informs, inspires, and uplifts. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.